Hi, my name is Dr. John Douillard. I want to talk to you today about 5 essential lifestyle tips to keep your kids healthy when they go back to school this year. The Children's Hospital Guide for Health and Development had reported that the average kid gets about 8 to 10 colds per year. Now, in our family, we have 6 kids. If each kid got just 6 colds per year and each cold lasted 10 days, that's 360 days of the year we have somebody sick in our house. Quickly, that became unacceptable behavior. In fact, wrote a book called Perfect Health for Kids, which is based on all the strategies I use and gleaned keeping my kids healthy over the years, and also my patients' kids healthy as well. There's some simple things to do, very important things. In the middle of August, the weather changes. The nights get cooler. The air begins to dry out. When the sinuses dry out and the air dries out, the sinuses produce mucus. They produce reactive mucus to the dryness. The accumulation of heat all summer long dries things out. If you put something on a burner, it's going to dry out. Deserts are dry. When the body becomes dry, the mucous membranes produce mucus. That mucus excessively is a breeding ground for colds and flus and bacteria and can predispose your child to getting sick. So it's important to keep the sinuses lubricated. Now, we don't think about humidifiers in August. However, when the kids go back to school, then it's very important to think about adding those humidifiers even as early as August. One of my favorite other techniques to keep the eustachian tube lubricated is ear oil. You can go to any health food store, buy some ear oil. They have garlic, mullein ear oil that are very demulcent and lubricating, and you warm it up under the sink, get it just to be room temperature or body temperature, and a couple of drops in their ears before they go to bed. With a little cotton ball, and it helps to lubricate their sinuses and keeps their upper cervical lymph, which is where their immune system is housed in the upper respiratory tract, alive and well. So a very important tip, step 1, humidifiers and ear oil. Next tip, early to bed. First thing that happens when the kids get back to school, they want to have sleepovers and they want to stay up late. And next thing you know, they've got sports and activities and school and homework and sleepovers, and they're up late and they get run down, they get exhausted. So it's very important for us to remember our kids need their sleep. You know, elementary school kids, I always say before 8 o'clock, high school kids before 10 o'clock. That's sort of the cutoff. After that, you're starting to slowly accumulate fatigue and exhaustive debt. When the kids get exhausted, their immune system gets compromised, they get run down, and they get sick. So it's important to make sure we create a routine in the house to help them get to bed early. Hydration, very important thing. You know, in 1850, the average child had 1 Coke, 1 pop, 1 soda per year. Now the average kid gets 2 to 3 per day. So we don't drink water any longer. We drink soda pop and juices and things, and water hydrates. It's extremely important that we hydrate the body. When we hydrate the body, the cells can be hydrated, fed. The spaces between the cells, which is where your lymphatic system is, which is where your immune system is housed, can actually move and circulate. When kids get dried out, they get dehydrated, their lymph gets congested, their immune is compromised, and therefore they get sick. So water, water, water. Water in the morning when they wake up, water before they go to bed, water in their lunchbox, as much water as you possibly can with kids. You know, make them drink a big glass of water before they eat their meals. You know, an old recipe was take a big glass of water 15 minutes before the meal, have them drink that, and then when they sit down to eat their food, their digestion is much, much stronger. They're going to be much more able to digest hard to digest food with water prior to the meal. Why is that? Your stomach lining, which produces all the acid, has a bicarbonate layer underneath, which is a buffering system for all the acid your stomach makes. And that's 80% water. If you drink a big glass of water 15, 20 minutes before the meal, that water hydrates that buffer layer and allows the buffer to be optimized, and the body goes, hey, we got a big time buffer down there. Let's make some acid. Let's cook some food. But if that stomach lining is dehydrated and there's no buffer, your stomach simply won't produce the acid. It can give your child a stomach ache and also compromised digestion, and a compromised digestion causes a compromised immunity, because 80% of your digestion, experts believe, is in your intestinal tract. So the next tip, the 4th tip, is that digestion actually is where our immune system is housed. So good digestion delivers good immunity. Late meals, eating late at night, that's a challenge for most kids to eat a meal late at night. The digestive system turns off after the sun sets, so try to get your kids fed early. So many kids are constipated. I have families and moms and dads bring their kids in and I say, when was the last, how often do you go to the bathroom? Do you poop every day? And kids don't seem to know. They kind of get embarrassed and shrug their shoulders. Mom and dads don't know how often they go. Nobody seems to know. It's like the big unknown. And it's very important that we know if we're going to the bathroom regularly. Once a day, first thing in the morning is optimal. More than that for certain body types is extra credit. But it's important to know that we should go every day. Kids don't eat vegetables. Vegetables have cellulose in bulk that allows us to go to the bathroom on a regular basis. That's the biggest thing. That and water, critical pieces of the eliminative puzzle. And since the immune system is in your digestive system, we must eat those vegetables and drink the water. My favorite way to get my kids to eat vegetables is for me to eat a ridiculous amount of vegetables. It's kind of a monkey see, monkey do thing. If they see mom and dad eating so many vegetables, they're going to eat them. It's just that simple. I know they don't like them, but I promise you, if we as parents start eating what we need is vegetables, which is really a lot, they will follow suit. Simpler, more simple than you think. The last piece about helping your kids stay healthy lifestyle-wise is how to regulate their mood with diet. Kids come home from school. What they had for lunch is the second big unknown. No one really knows for sure what they eat at lunchtime. It's, who knows? We make it, we provide money to go buy it. Whether they eat it or not, we're not really sure. They come home from school, one thing we do know is they're hungry and famished at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they come home from school. At that point, the brain is saying, I want food. My blood sugar is being demanded by my brain at that time to feed the brain and feed the nervous system. So we're going to crave candy, Coke, sweets, chocolate, any kind of quick, fast, injectable type of snack, which gives us an energy boost, and what goes up must come crashing down. And it creates high lows in the afternoon energy. So the kids get high, then they get low, and then they feel depleted. They don't want to do their homework. They fight with their siblings. It becomes a mess. But if you give your child a really good meal when they come home, a substantial meal, interestingly, they're starving. They'll eat anything, even the green stuff at that time. So what we always did with our kids was we always had a meal that we had for lunch sitting there on the stove waiting for them to come home. So when they come home, they could have a nice real meal. Do the best you can with that. That allows the kids to have an early a meal at 3, then another early supper if possible, the best you can. But even if it's a late supper, because you had a good meal at 3, it doesn't have to be so huge for kids so they don't go to sleep on such a full stomach, and then they can get to bed earlier. Please read the article. I go into the details of each of these 5 tips, and these are the tips that I have used for years to keep my kids healthy and my patients' kids healthy. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.